From the very beginning, the Bible tells us that humanity was created with a unique purpose. In Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, God declares, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." But what does this mean? Does it mean that we look like God? Does it mean we share His power? Or is there a deeper meaning? In this video, we'll explore what it means to be made in God's image, why God created humans this way, how this impacts our relationship with Him today. Let's dive into this incredible truth. The phrase, "made in the image of God," comes from the Hebrew term, Imago Dei, which means the divine image. But what does this actually mean? Does it mean we physically look like God? Not exactly. The Bible tells us that God is spirit, John chapter 4 verse 24. He is not limited by a human body like we are. God's image is about our nature. It's not about appearance but about the spiritual, moral, and intellectual qualities that separate us from animals. Being made in God's image means we have intellect, the ability to reason and create. We have morality, a sense of right and wrong. We have spirituality, the ability to connect with God. Unlike the rest of creation, humans were made to reflect God's nature. So why did God make us in His image? Why didn't He just create us like the rest of the animals? The Bible gives us several reasons. To have a relationship with Him unlike animals, humans can communicate with God through prayer and worship. Genesis chapter 3 verse 8 suggests that Adam and Eve walked with God in the Garden of Eden to reflect His glory. Just as a mirror reflects an image, we were created to reflect God's character in the world. Matthew chapter 5 verse 16 says, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." To rule over creation, Genesis chapter 1 verse 28 says, "God blessed them and said to them, Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every living creature that moves on the ground." We were given authority to care for and steward the earth, just as God rules over the universe. God wanted us to be His representatives on earth, reflecting His goodness, wisdom, and love. When Adam and Eve sinned, something changed. The image of God in humanity was distorted but not completely lost. Sin corrupted our moral and spiritual nature. Before sin, humans reflected God's perfect holiness. After sin, humanity was separated from God and became prone to evil. We still bear God's image, but it's broken. Genesis chapter 9 verse 6 reaffirms that humans still have God's image, even after sin entered the world. However, we need restoration, which comes through Jesus Christ. This is why salvation is so important. Jesus came to restore what was lost. Through Jesus Christ, the image of God in us is being restored. Colossians 1:15 calls Jesus the image of the invisible God. Romans chapter 8 verse 29 says that believers are being conformed to the image of Christ. When we accept Jesus, we begin to reflect God's image again. Our minds are renewed, Romans chapter 12 verse 2. Our hearts are transformed, Ezekiel chapter 36 verse 26. We become new creations, 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17. Through Jesus, we become who we were meant to be from the very beginning. So, how does this truth impact our daily lives? If we were created in God's image, then we have inherent value. Every human being, regardless of background, has worth and dignity. This is why Christians stand for justice, human rights, and compassion. We are called to reflect God's character. Just as a mirror reflects light, we should reflect God's love, mercy, and truth to the world. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 1 says, "Be imitators of God, as dearly loved children." We must live with purpose. If we are made in God's image, then our lives are not random or meaningless. We are here to glorify God, love others, and spread His truth. Every action we take should reflect the fact that we bear God's imprint. So, why did God create man in His image and after His likeness? To have a relationship with Him, to reflect His character and glory, to rule over creation as His representatives. Even though sin distorted God's image, through Jesus Christ, we can be restored. What do you think? How does knowing you are made in God's image impact your life? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more biblical insights.